The White House is already responding, saying that this was rhetoric, but nothing new when it comes to concrete alternatives to these nuclear negotiations with Iran. What do you think?
Well, I think it was a very powerful speech. I think it reinforced the very close Israeli-American relationship, and I think he clearly admitted that the United States has really done more for Israel than virtually any other country in terms of money over the tenure of Barack Obama, money for security, for Iron Dome, for financing of equipment, etc. It's clear he doesn't like what he thinks the deal is. Now, I don't know whether he knows or he doesn't know, but what he didn't say was what would happen if there was no deal, or what would happen if the four European nations and China and Russia all agreed and the United States did not. And he didn't make a suggestion as to what Israel would find agreeable. He simply said, there's nothing that we agree with here, and then he made a number of pronouncements of terrible things that could happen.
You know what is sort of what the parameters of this deal are. I know you told me yesterday that you've learned that in a classified setting. Can you just tell me, is he right when he talks about the fact that they would be able to break out within a year?
I'm not going to comment on that. I do know this, that nothing has been finalized. Nothing has been finalized to date. So I think the problem with this is it's really premature. I think we need to wait and see. He laid out a number of red lines. That's correct. What he didn't say is what would happen if there is no deal. What would Israel do? What would Israel expect the United States to do? What in much of his rhetoric suggested is that there's a very real possible likelihood of Israel taking aggressive action.
Is that your concern, that if there is no deal, that Israel would strike militarily?
I am not there at all, but you have to think what happens if there's no deal. Does Israel do this? And then what is expected of the United States? And do we respond accordingly? And do we then create a major conflagration in the Middle East?
Senator, thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
Thank you for your thoughts. I appreciate it.